guys, we're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our third year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
I'm Dave Palumbo, founder of Species Nutrition. I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work and are backed by science. From my earliest bodybuilding days, I believed in only putting the best in my body, and that lives on in the Species Nutrition line of products. We use only top-of-the-line formulations dosed for maximum results and the best flavoring systems available. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
When you're asleep, they're just getting started. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, After Hours.
Welcome back to After Hours. Once again, I'm Dave Palumbo, joined by my co-host in crime, John Romano. And John, it's funny. I have a very good dear client of mine, Phil Klahar. He's an IFBB pro. He just placed 4th at the Tampa Pro. And Ron Harris contacted him from Muscle Development to do an interview. So Ron has to do pre-interviews with these guys because he doesn't follow really anything that's going on, so he doesn't know what's going on. And he's like, during the pre-interview, he's like, well, who trains you? And he's like, Dave Palumbo does my diet. And he's like, oh, well, we can't talk about him. Can you believe Blackman is still censoring the guests as to what they can talk about and not talk about?
Oh my God! Yeah, of course I can believe it. We haven't let go of him. He's not going to let go of us.
I guess.
It's just the way it is. But I mean, we do it because we have an endless comedic value to it. He's still the freaking guy who can't fit in.
No talking about Dave Palumbo. Ron, take the edit. Ron just doesn't want to have to re-edit the interview. That's all. If, right. God forbid, Blackman actually listens to it.
Exactly. Or imagine if you did his diet, trained him, he took your supplements, and he lived with you.
Yeah, and he does. Yeah, he does.
What's he going to talk about?
Right. Well, he said you're interviewing the person, except you're really not asking them about how they actually had success in their prep, because you're not allowed to talk about certain aspects of their life. So I said, what's the purpose of doing the interview then? What? Talk about something else. I don't know. Make something up.
Can you imagine how
we need hits.
I just imagine how tormented he must be in his head. How just absolutely conflicted and tormented. Yeah. And I would bet that in his deep, darkest places, he is in agony.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is.
He's
got all this money. And he could buy all the glutes in the world with it. He could be wearing a smoking jacket every day in a freaking tower penthouse in Dubai or Thailand or something, and he could be having his. And he knows it, but he can't do it. So
and the funny thing is, when he eventually dies, probably at 120 years old, because he'll live forever because he's so healthy. God bless him. I hope he does. What's going to happen. Jordan, when he gets his son, when he gets his inheritance, will be spending like he's like Donald Trump. The money will be he'll be spending the way Steve wants to spend.
Right. Well, except he'll be spending it on marijuana and skateboards.
Oh, whatever he's into. But I'm saying he'll enjoy his life, though.
Oh yeah, no. He won't be tormented. Blackman's tormented.
Yeah.
He's absolutely tormented. He is. It's like you, if you had this pile of cash right here, of $300,000, and you wanted to buy this, and you wanted this Ferrari in the worst way, but you can't spend it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You have the money. You have it. It's right there, and you can't buy the Ferrari.
That's right.
So he's in agony, the poor guy. I mean, bad.
What do you think he thinks about David Pecker, being let go from AMI there?
Oh, that's a victory for him.
Yeah, I would think so, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's I beat him. Maybe now he can retire. Maybe now he can let go because he's outlasted everybody.
That's
Everybody
right.
else is gone. He's the last ship in the armada that hasn't sunk yet. Well, I mean, look at Iron Man's gone, Muscle Mag is gone,
Right.
Flex is gone,
Right.
they're all gone.
He actually won. I don't know what he won. He won the booby prize, but maybe he's the stupidest person to keep printing a magazine. That's about the only thing I can think of, I guess.
It's like you live in this neighborhood, okay? And Thursday night you take out the trash, right? And you hate the look of trash cans in front of the house. So he's the guy that waits to the last possible minute before the garbage man comes to put his trash can, even if he's got to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to do it. So that as soon as the trash can is empty, he can put it back and he doesn't have to deal with the trash can in front of him. It matters that much, that he's he's the last magazine standing. That's exactly like you're the only house in the block that doesn't have the garbage can out.
There you go.
That's how important it is.
That's a good metaphor. All right, I got to bitch and complain about something. You see this? This is, you know what this is, John?
No.
It is one of those little bleach tabs that you drop into your toilet bowl.
Ah, yes, okay.
You actually put it in the tank of the toilet bowl so that the water stays, I don't know, disinfected. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Is it a blue one? Do you like the blue color?
I do like the blue one. This happens to be a white one that it just for disinfection purposes, so everything smells nice. They don't tell you something about these. These things disintegrate the internal components of the toilet bowl. Now, how I know that? Because my toilet bowl was running nonstop. And when you have a water system on your house, a very expensive one that has a 500-gallon storage tank, and you make RO water and you alkalinize it and it has storage, and then you go to turn the water on in the morning to brush your teeth and you got no water, and you say, "Why don't I have any water?" I sound like my father. And it turns out that this stupid tab disintegrated the toilet in my office here, which then made it run all night, which depleted my tank. I didn't believe it, but it's the truth. So my plumber comes, who is always at my house for some reason. He, by the way, uses Species nutrition supplements. I wish I could pay him in Species supplements because every time he comes, it costs me $120. And he's like, "I got to change the internal guts. Are you using any kind of drop-in bleach tabs?" I'm like, in fact, I am. I said, we like to keep things clean here. He's like, "Well, it's eating away, it corroded away the internal components of the toilet bowl." I said, "Well, why do they sell these things then?"
Isn't it meant for the bowl?
No, this goes in the tank.
No, it goes in the tank. But the flapper valve is it's rubber that it eats.
I think it's a conspiracy. I think the plumbers of America have designed this tab purposely to disintegrate the internal components of the bowl so they have more work. That's my conspiracy theory for the day.
It's an interesting theory.
But there is evidence to prove that this that this does kill the COVID-19 virus. So I guess it's half a dozen of this, half a dozen of that. The other thing that's irking me today is I have these lawn guys, that come. Actually, it's a lawn woman. It's the first person I've ever seen that was a female that does lawn service. Not that there's anything wrong with that. She does a great job. But they like to come earlier and earlier every week, John. So I have the little dogs, the Maltese and the Yorkie, and they don't really do anything, but they're alert. They're alert dogs. They hear noise, they bark. So they come in at 7 in the morning. They're doing my lawn. Brrr, brrr. And then the dogs are going crazy, of course, because they think someone's breaking into the house. What? Since when do they start doing the lawns at 7 in the morning? Is this
hot as shit?
Is this a freaking new thing?
It's like 95 degrees.
Well, then let them come at night and do it when the sun goes down. I don't want them here in the morning.
Tell them. Do you speak Spanish? Tell them.
No, I'm thinking of hiring a groundskeeper. We bought the property across the street from my house.
Oh, cool.
And they have a guy there who does all the grounds. And I'm thinking, you know what? If he does their grounds across the street, I might as well just have him do all my properties. I'll just hire him. He's already full-time with that guy across the street. But he doesn't speak a word of English. Thank God for Google Translator, which I got to tell you is pretty amazing.
I can help you.
I know. I need a John Romano brush-up lesson in Spanish.
I got to do the same thing. With the rain, it's been so wet this summer the growth, everything is grown like I can't. Cause there's no way I can keep up with this. I'm hiring a crew.
Oh yeah, you can't do it yourself.
The whole bank of the river is just freaking over.
Right.
I can't even see the water. It's like overgrown.
It's not like you're admitting defeat. You're just saying, you know what? I have better uses of my time than getting out there and mowing. It's not that you can't do it. Of course you can do it. I could do it too if I really wanted to.
Right.
But who wants to spend 3 hours a day, mowing the lawn and cutting stuff? I mean, I know some people get pleasure out of that. I get pleasure out of other things that I'd rather be doing. So I don't mind paying someone to do it.
I fall into that category, wanting to do everything myself, because it just kills me to pay somebody for something that I can do.
Right, but think about how much more money you're making being productive doing something else, like doing this show or something.
And you know what? I argue with my wife about this. At least for the front of the house, I want to get a weekly landscape.
Right.
Okay, do the edging, do the weeds,
Right.
do
The pain in the ass stuff, yeah.
All the pain in the ass shit that's mindless. Not that it's I'm looking for somebody stupid. I'm just talking about my mind is going mindless. I'm mowing the lawn, like I'm thinking about shit and I'm gonna run over my foot.
Right.
But you amputate my ankle. So just every time I go into the tool shed, I get the trimmer out, the fucking thing, the line is off. I can't get. I spend so much time dicking around.
Wasted time.
I know. So I can do the edge, and then I change the blade, and then I go in. The belt is broken on the tractor mower for the backyard. I got to fix that. I gotta go get gas. I gotta mix the oil with it. I got the blower. And all of this shit breaks. And who's got to fix it? So my wife doesn't understand that there's maintenance and all of this shit. And it takes time.
Right.
And if you just paid a guy $40 a week to come and just mow the freaking lawn and blow it and boom, done.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about any of this shit.
And then you can do the fun stuff. I like to plant like the trees and fruit trees, and I do my tomatoes. I want to do the fun. I don't want to do the stuff I don't enjoy doing. I don't want to have to do the maintenance work. That's not. And once again, if it was 20 years ago and I didn't have anything to do, and my biggest, the conundrum was, should I go tanning first or should I eat my McDonald's meal first or go to the gym? Then it's a different story. But now I got too much going on.
And you know what? Yard work in the summertime sucks because of the bugs, man. You get all those gnats flying around your head. That right there, to not endure 30 minutes of gnats is worth $40 a week to me. Yeah. That's right there.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And you know what? Yeah. And it's 1,000 degrees. Florida, I thought that the summers were the same in Florida and New York. I go outside and do some planting, and I'm not really even exerting myself. And I come in, I'm dripping sweat. I feel like I gotta lay down. I'm so exhausted. The sun just drains the life out of you. And as my wife always points out, I always do it like noon with the worst possible time, because that's what I have available,
It's the humidity.
Yeah,
is what it is.
I don't even know.
It
doesn't feel that bad when I'm out there. It's afterwards when I come in that it hits me.
It sucks the energy out of you. It really.
But I think we're just old. That's really what it is.
But it really, I remember being a carpenter, back when I was, 19, 20 years old, slinging a hammer out in the sun all day. Yeah. It didn't bother me, but because I was doing it every day, I was used to it. Now, you go out and you do it now, and it's, I haven't done that in, 5 years. I haven't exerted myself in that manner, Right. It's the human body is so weird. If you could do something like over here, you do it like this, lifting this thing up or carrying it over here, you do it every day, you have no problem with it. If you alter that biomechanics of that movement 1 degree to the right, you're sore, you're beat up, everything's different.
That's why you have to change up the workouts, John. That's what, in bodybuilding, because you work in different muscle groups. All right, one more bitch complaint. So when I first moved here, there was no internet in this community. It's like a spread out community. So none of the neighbors wanted to rally with me and get together and get these people to install a high fiber optic line. So I finally found one company, CenturyLink Business. Luckily, I have my business on my property. I have a separate building. I got them to run a line. They had to run it a mile long to my house.
Wow.
I thought they were going to charge me a fortune, but they just snuck it into the bill. And so I didn't have a choice. I was paying I'm still paying $1,100 a month for internet. $1,100. Now I play it off the business. Obviously, our RxMuscle species pays for it, but it's ridiculous. But I had no choice. And I know what they did. They amortized the cost of the install over 3 years.
Right.
So 3 years has passed already. So my neighbor comes up to me. She's like, "Oh, I got high speed," because when they ran my line, they ran another line there for the neighbors. So basically, I paid for all the neighbors to be able to get internet. But they're just now. It took them about 2 or 3 years to realize that they can do that. Because originally they're like, "Oh, it's fast enough." Fast enough. It was DSL, John. It was like remember the dial-up when you used to do AOL when it first came out in the 90s, and you had the modem and it would go beep boop boop beep boop boop, and that was the speed it had. You couldn't download a picture. That's how slow it was. That's why we had to do this. So my neighbor comes up there. She's like, "Oh, the internet's great, and how's your internet?" I'm like, "Oh, what's your speed?" Well, I pay for 100 megs up, 100 megs down, which is a good speed to if you have to live stream and stuff like that.
She's getting 450.
No, she's getting 950. 950 up and down. I said, "What do you pay for that?" She's like, $65 a month. I'm like, "What? What? $65 a month?" So I don't believe her. I think they're lying to me. I call up CenturyLink, not the business, the other one, because they don't communicate, obviously.
Right.
She's like, "Oh, yeah, we can hook you up because of course you can hook me up because I'm the hookup, right? It goes to the edge of my property. That's as far as the line goes." She's like, $65 a month. I said, "Well, what speed am I going to get?" She's like, 950 up and down. I said, I'm paying $1,100. They don't know anything because business doesn't talk to residential.
Right.
So all of a sudden, my dogs are barking again this morning. Yesterday was the lawn guy. No, this morning was the lawn guys. So I fall back asleep after the lawn guys leave. 8 o'clock, the dogs are barking again. Someone's knocking on my front door. It's CenturyLink. "We're here to install the line." I said, "You're not supposed to come till Thursday." He's like, "Well, we got to run the line and the people will hook it up on Thursday." I said, "Well, I already got a line." They're like, "You have a line already?" I said, "Yeah." They're like, "Do you have fiber?" I said, "I have fiber." He said, "Well, let me see it." I said, "Well, you can't see it. It's in a conduit." I said, "You got to come into my building." So I take him in the building. I show him. He's like, "Well, you got fiber here." I said, "Does anyone talk to anyone at your company over there? Does anyone know what's anyone's..." I've never seen incompetence like this in Florida. Any other state. I lived in Pennsylvania when I was in college. It's something about the South, John, I think, or Florida. I don't know what it is. I think the sun may drain the logic out of people's brains.
They just move at a very slow pace in the South, and I mean, but you know what? Cable
Tyler said he's given up. Sounds like everyone just throws their arms up and no one wants to work.
That's what they do.
I've had 4 people out here put a fence around my property. No one comes back after the first visit.
Oh, that's a common complaint everywhere among contractors.
What?
I used to hear that all the time in my construction company.
Why?
You're the only one that comes back. You say you give me a bill. You say you're going to come Tuesday. You come Tuesday. Nobody else comes
Why
back.
is that, John? Why don't people want to work?
I think what happens is they bite off more than they can chew.
Oh.
The thing is, when you're a small contractor, you're a 1, 2, 3-man show, and you're doing all the work yourself. You're working on a job now, and you think, "Okay, I'm going to be done in 2 weeks."
Right.
Okay, and so I'm going to line up another job to start, when the 2 weeks is up. But nothing takes 2 weeks. It takes 4. It takes 6, and then you can back up the job, and then you have another one in the funnel, and now that one's backed up, and then
Right.
they find somebody else to do it, and then you move. So there's never a system when you do like more than 1 day stuff. Like if you can go in and do a job in a day or two, like a tile job or something fast. That's one thing. But when you're doing protracted jobs, like a fence could take a week,
Right.
and then but a week can turn into 2 weeks because of the weather, because of material, because of help, because of COVID, because of you name it. So the hardest thing in the construction business is to accurately plot time and make it come true.
Let me ask you a question, though. If you're a fence company and all you do is fences, and someone wants to hire you to do a fence, and you got a lot of fence to do, and you're going to make a lot of money on the job, why don't you going to come back and do the fence?
Because it rained 3 days ago, and the other fence job got delayed, and now the one he had coming between you and him is now delayed, and two guys call in sick from with
Schedule me in 6 months. I don't care.
I'm just telling you
on the
what
calendar.
happened. I understand your position because people tell me all the time, nobody shows up. But when you're actually, having to deal with this shit, it's when you got to rely on other people, employees, other people to show up, the weather, tools not breaking. I mean, there's all kinds of shit you got to deal with in that business. But yeah, it's frustrating to the homeowner because they just want them to come back and do the job.
I've had guys come out and I've told them other people didn't come back and they're like, "Oh, we're not like that." I never hear from them again. They don't even give me like a proposal. It's crazy.
I never did that, man. I always, if I was getting delayed or something, I would, contact them or, say, look, it's not going to be next week. It's going to be the week after. Or I'll send somebody else, to do it if you want. But
so I got this rooster next door to me. It's actually 2 doors down, but the rooster comes into my neighbor's backyard, and it's always there's a few of them. They're roostering it up. Now the 17-year-old girl who lives in that house owns the roosters, she cleans snakes for me. Like I pay her to clean snakes. She's like,
wait, she cleans snakes?
Like she comes and cleans the snake tubs for me because I have so many snakes. So she
doesn't wipe down the snake.
No. She cleans the tubs out for me, and it's like cleaning cages. Okay. She's into all the snakes and everything like that. So she comes in and she's like, we have too many roosters. I said, I know, I hear them every freaking morning. I said, they don't stop. She's like, my mom, they're starting to attack, bother the other hens because I guess if you have too many roosters, all they want to do is breed all day, kind of like a bunch of male bodybuilders, And she's like, do you want any of the roosters? I said to feed to your snakes, because the big snakes will eat, they'll eat chickens and roosters. So I'm thinking to myself in my head, like I got the evil devil on one side and the little angel on the other side, and the devil's saying, feed them, get rid of these freaking roosters. You won't have to hear them in the morning anymore. And the other one's like, you can't feed a live rooster. Like, in other words, if it was dead already, I wouldn't mind dangling it and giving it to the snake.
John Scuderi would do it.
Yeah. Like, I could feed a rat to a snake, no problem, but
So you got like a giant like boa constrictor in a cage. You're gonna throw a rooster in there,
and
he's gonna
grab
it and wrap it around and strangle it and swallow it.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on, Logan would love to watch.
Oh,
that.
I know it would be a great video, but I almost feel bad for the rooster. So I said I can't. If you want to kill the rooster and bring it over, I'll feed it to the snake. I said so.
Yeah. Oh, you got a video of that? I want to see that.
Tyler wants to know if rats are smarter than roosters. They probably are. Yeah.
The rat will hurt the snake. You got to be careful.
Yeah, those snakes are pretty. You know what? The snakes are stupid in one sense because if they're in shed or when they're going to shed their skin or they're not in the mood to eat because sometimes they just don't want to. They'll let the rat eat them basically. They're dumb like that. But if 99 times out of 100 you put that rat in, that thing is mincemeat. So. It is what it is, I don't know. It's funny. I love all animals, but it's sometimes there's like when things are too big, it becomes like it almost becomes too too traumatic for me in my mind. A lot of people feed rabbits to the big pythons. And
really? What's the biggest snake? What's the biggest snake that you have in captivity?
I have the Burmese pythons get pretty big, but I don't feed them a lot, so they grow slow. I probably have like a 12 footer, And they get pretty thick. They're like about that thick. There's a video up on my Palumbo's Pythons Instagram. If you on the story, if you go take a look at it, you can see a pretty big one I have. But
they can swallow one of your kids.
No, they can't do that. But I wouldn't leave my kids alone with them. But they're very tame, these things. But once again, with kids you can't leave them around. That's why I have a separate building so the kids don't.
Yeah. Do the kids like them?
Oh, they love them. Yeah, they love them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean they're amused by them now. We'll see who, as they get older, really is attracted to the whole hobby, if any of them. Who knows? It'll probably be one of my daughters, if knowing how my life goes. There's Tyler showing you some of the snakes we took pictures of.
Yeah. Are we on or what?
So it's week number 9 that John Romano has no Mr. Potts cookies. Any type, variety, or anything.
You know what the problem is? I get them, but then they're eaten so quickly between the kids, Amanda, myself, Tyler digs into them, and so they're gone like in a week. So it doesn't matter how many he sends me.
John, the peanut butter ones are way better now.
Well, so what I did was I made cookies over the weekend and I put it in the tin. So at least I have.
Hey, are we on? Can you guys hear us? Or no?
Maybe we should.
But I had to make them myself. You want to see them?
Yeah, let me see
Is that
him.
a yes?
Let me
Greg,
grab.
let me see you. Talk.
Hello? Hello? Can
Yeah,
you
there
see
you go.
it?
You're there, Greg. We see you.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we hear you and we see you.
Okay.
We're talking about Mr. G's cookies. I think what we should do is, I think I would do it for the whole public, but I don't trust anyone to send me stuff. But maybe between you, Greg, myself, John, Mr. G, and Jimmy, we should all have like a protein cookie bake-off. Like we should all make our own protein cookies recipe, and then cross-submit them to each other and do like a taste test or something like that. Or everyone just send it to me and I'll taste them all. Tyler can taste them all. He's an objective third party, you know.
I would do it. My friend.
Hey, so I had to put my own cookies.
I said what we should do is we should do a bake-off, John. We should have all the people, all the whack packers do their own cookies.
Yeah, but
So
John,
until I get a refill, I'm going to be doing it myself.
There you
Okay,
go.
so if anybody walks into my house, Mr. G, and they open the tin and they go, "Oh, these fucking cookies are great. Where do I get them?" Well, you got to get them right here because Mr. G, he don't send me no cookies. So I got to just, I got to make my own. Is basically what happened.
Yeah.
are those things sugar, like high in sugar and everything, or did you?
Oh yeah, they're real cookies, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if we do a bake-off, it's got to be a cookie that has protein in it, though. You're gonna have to put some.
Well, you know what I do is I mix in some protein powder with the flour.
I'll send you some isolized protein you can put in there, and then we'll make it that way because this way they're all standard, and then you could add your own cookie recipe to whatever everyone has to use the same protein because otherwise, if we don't use the same protein, then it's cheating. So use the same protein, and then we got to see what your cookie recipe is. Like Mr. G, we know uses omega-3 eggs and macadamia nut oil. I don't know what kind of flour John uses or anything like that, but
they're fucking good. I got to tell you.
I'll tell you, Mr. G's peanut butter cookies were really good, and I like the macadamia nut white chocolate. Was it white chocolate in there too? Those were really good too. Those might be my favorite.
I'm dying to try them.
Yeah,
They were all good. I liked them.
I wonder where is Mr. G? I'm surprised he's not on yet. He said he's bringing someone from.
He's down here in the corner,
Is he?
in the lower right.
He looks like I can't tell what the hell
George,
he's
you
doing.
here?
He's at the golf course.
Hey, Dave, what's going on
He
with
was
all
with
those
Jimmy
freaks
again?
I can turn his audio on.
He texted me and he said he was bringing an old Rat Pack guy from Vegas on as a guest today. Turn your phone sideways, Mr. G. You know what? Him and Jimmy go on these golf courses with the phone with no reception, and then they wonder why they can't hear us or we can't hear them, and I gotta X them out.
Hey, Dave, let me ask you a question. What's with all those guys that you post that are from like Kuwait? They all fucking look alike. Like that guy you just put up, he's like really jacked and shit. They all look alike. They all look like.
They say all us Italians look alike too.
No, I don't mean look alike in the face. I meant all their builds. Like if you cut their heads off, to me they all look the
It's a
same.
genetic. It's a genetic thing. You know, all Middle Eastern guys have the really good abs. You ever notice they have the lined up abs like Samir had?
That's because they fucking grew up not eating food.
No, I'm not talking
No.
about their leanness. I'm talking about how their abs line up. They have that perfectly perfect six pack.
Yeah,
you
but-
know?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but you really believe that they don't like that's genetics? I mean, it's got to be.
Greg, I breed snakes. If I have a snake that has a lot of red in it, and I breed everyone and I breed all the red ones together, you get red. You know, if the Middle Eastern guys, marry someone from America or someone from Australia, you're gonna see different genetics in there. But as long as they're breeding within their country, you're gonna keep a small genetic pool.
The way I disagree with that is because most guys, you go over to Middle East, you see Middle Eastern men, and they're not naturally jacked. Like it's different if you see a black dude. You could go down in New York City and see some crackhead laying in the corner, fucking, and you say, "Holy shit, look at this guy."
Well, the Middle Eastern guys are not naturally ripped, but when they diet down, they have great physiques under there.
No, but I'm saying
a
they're
lot
not
of
naturally.
African American guys just have good genetics. They stay lean.
What I notice is there's certain nationalities that have different thickness to their skin. I find that Latin people, African Americans, they have very thick skin. You go to like the Dorian types, you know, the Northern Europeans, you know, from England, Ireland, the Netherlands. Those people, the gingers, their skin gets like freaking thin as paper.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about their structure. It's not like you see guys like, you know, you could see a black dude or some Hispanics. They got no fucking. They could not touch a weight, and they look like they lift weights. I had a guy walk in my gym after training 3 months. He never touched a weight. Came in the gym, worked out for 3 months, and won a natural show.
Right.
Won the overall.
What about Greg? What about when you go down to Brazil and you see these Brazilian women with these butts? Okay?
Because that's
not the ones that have the
engineered.
implants.
They take butt injections.
No, forget about the button. They have butts anyway. That's a genetic trait that's in Brazil, you know.
But listen, I'm not trying to start a fucking race thing here, but that's because a lot of them have a little bit of black blood in them. Black people have a butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but black people don't have a butt like the Brazilians have. It's part of that gene pool now that's down there.
But Brazil's got Dutch. They got some have
Where's
Dutch.
Jimmy, the master race stereotyper? We need him when we need him. You know?
No, I'm not trying to race stereotype.
No, we're not. We're talking truth here.
Right, we're talking legit.
Asian people have great calves and no butts. That's a well-known fact, right?
But that's the mixture of the blood, though. You could see in Brazilian have Spain, they have Dutch, they even have Asian in them. A lot of them, you know what I'm saying? So they got a lot of little things going on.
Right, but when you see an Asian person, Asian people have really good calves usually, and they have no glutes. They have very flat butts, right?
Yep, long ass.
Yeah, but you throw the black blood in there, they got big calves and big butts now. You know
I was walking down the street the other day, and about half a block away, I see this black kid sweeping the sidewalk, right? And I'm looking at this kid, and I'm like, this kid looks like he's just won the Mr. Universe. I mean, Mr. America. I mean, he's like tiny waist, wide back, shredded. His abs are all out, cap delts. I'm walking up to this kid. As I get closer, you know, he appears he's very young. So I go, dude, where do you train? You know what? Because I go to the most hardcore gym in the area. And I never seen him there. I go, where do you train? He goes, what do you mean train? I go, where do you work out? He goes, I don't work out. And I swear, this kid could have walked off the stage. I'm telling you, he was thin. I mean, it wasn't a big dude, but proportion, structure, condition, the guy looked like a competitor.
John,
and he doesn't go to the gym.
Listen, I was like that as a kid. I still have, my shoulders are still broad now, and I don't even fucking work out. And I haven't done an actual shoulder exercise since 2003. I'm just saying, if in the Middle East, if they were so genetically elite, you would see even guys, when they take off their shirts, they'd have musculature to them. And I don't believe that they do. I mean, you know, I'm
well,
just saying.
Look at Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone was not a big guy before he started weightlifting, but he was a hyper responder. So when he started training, his body just exploded. I mean, Flex Wheeler wasn't a big guy. Look how skinny he was when he started. His body just responded.
I'll buy that. But what's that little guy, Ashkenani or whatever the fuck his name is? I heard that he was, at one point when he came out and competed in the Olympia, he looked all super jacked and shit. But he was only training for like 5 years. Like 5 years ago, it was like, yeah.
Ramy wasn't training that long either when he first came out.
Yeah, Ramy was like, what, for 3 years?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Either they're hyper respond, but it's got to be more than that, because that's why every American guy goes to Kuwait, puts on 20 pounds of fucking muscle.
They don't all do that, Greg. Look, drugs come into play, but it's not drugs. There's a genetic component to everything. I did a consult with a guy last night. He's 82 years old. He started powerlifting. He never lifted a weight in his life.
I went to high school with him.
Yeah, he smoked for 60 years. 60 years a pack a day. He drank alcohol almost every day. He played pool. He was like a guy, he didn't do anything athletically. The guy, when the doctor looked at his x-ray of his lungs, he said, I can't believe you don't have anything wrong with your lungs. Okay? His dad lived to 99. His mother lived to 96. He's started powerlifting at 77. He's got all these records that he set. The guy looks amazing. He never worked out his whole life. He didn't start till 77 years old. The guy will probably live to 120 because he's got genetics. Nothing but
Yeah,
if he
but
can
he's
smoke
not-
for 60 years and
And he
have no
doesn't have, he
damage.
doesn't have 60 years worth of freaking injuries chasing him around.
No, but he has
but wait a
60
minute,
years of smoking, John, and he has no damage to his lungs. How do you explain that?
Yeah, and he's
It's
got
genetics.
no damage to his body, his muscles either.
I know
He's got-
people. Look, I have a friend of mine. His mother died of lung cancer. She never smoked a cigarette a day in her life.
Andy
it was just
Kaufman.
secondary
Kaufman.
smoke.
Andy Kaufman, same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. I think you're missing the point. I'm saying at least with a like when you again here in New York, you could go down. You see in Times Square, you'll see homeless black men, and they'll have no shirts on. I'll be like, dude, this guy looks like a gazelle. His fucking tiny waist, abs, pecs, every little muscle on the back. You don't see that in the Middle East. You know what I mean? I know what people are going to say, Valentino, so when have you been in the Middle East?
How many times have you been to the Middle East?
So you said it for them. But I'm saying.
Well, I mean, it's a legit question, Greg, because you're generalizing.
I'm sure if you saw
I'm
like
saying.
these guys that build the pyramids, when they were building the pyramids, I'm sure they were shredded too with no shirts
I
on.
bet there were. I bet you if you went to Dubai and walked around on the beach or up and down, you would see it at completely
I
different.
just don't see. I see it different. I'm saying to you, these guys are so fucking like they go from 0 to 100. Now either they're a hyper responder or it's true that they're doing something in Kuwait because every fucking American bodybuilder wants to fly out.
Greg,
What?
look at horse racing. Why?
Yeah.
Hold on. Look at horse racing. Why are the thoroughbreds all the Arabian stallions? Why are they so much faster than all the other horses?
Because they're bred for that.
Exactly.
From 100 years ago, they did.
Right. Right.
I remember.
But that's exactly what happened. When you're in a population where you have to in order to survive, you have to have a certain. You have to be able to eat a little bit of food, but yet still stay lean and active. And it's in a hot population. In Africa, people develop differently than in the Nordic parts of the world, where people hold more body fat, because body fat in the Nordic parts, where it's cold, is a survival advantage. Because otherwise, if you have no body fat in Finland, you die. Back in the
the other thing is that in that part of the world, the religion and the belief system is not very supportive of something like bodybuilding. Okay?
No, what about the fasting? The fasting helps you to lose fat. Maybe that's why they're lean.
That too, but
I'm not.
What I'm saying is you're making a generalization. Out of
No. I'm not though. I'm asking you, is it? I'm not saying the people themselves. I'm saying it. Why is it that everybody goes to Kuwait? Those guys live out
because they get free drugs there, Greg.
Because they got a place where they can live, eat, sleep.
Okay, you're telling me,
and that's all they got. Look, the best athlete, the best bodybuilder is the one that's going to be able to concentrate the hardest.
Right.
If you remove
that's
all
why
of
Big Grammy can't win.
And you structure his life as wake up, eat, train, eat, sleep, wake up, eat, train, sleep. If that's all that you have, you removed everything else, and you got drugs. Everybody's paying your bills. You can eat all the whatever you got. It's all taken care of.
A lot of American bodybuilders got that here.
Who?
For Christ's sake. Who a lot of these guys, I'm not gonna throw names, but a lot of guys don't work. They don't work here. You know what I mean? A lot of guys.
But they don't work. But nothing's provided for them. In that setting in Kuwait,
but that's what I'm saying.
It's like an incubator. So you just go there, you subscribe to the. How could you not gain 20 pounds under those?
Okay, so you're agreeing with what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying don't give me that shit that they were born like that. How come if you took Big Ramy and you brought him.
You started out by saying, why do these guys so ripped and lean by nature? Certain people.
What? No.
You're changing your tune.
No, he said they're not. He said when you take their shirt off, they're not.
I said, why do they all look the same? Every one of those guys are super jacked.
Why all the zebras look the same?
I bet you people would have said it. Why do all the guys that Gold's Gym Venice back in the 90s and 80s look the same, right? Come on.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Why do all the mafia gangsters look the same?
Holy Christ. Listen, you're missing what I'm trying to say. I'm saying to you, I know why I feel. I think it's the fucking gym out there with the drugs and all that shit. Because if you brought Big Ramy here and he wasn't able to fucking, I'm talking about before.
What is he going to be called, Tiny Ramby here?
Yeah.
Imagine if he had to be. If you imagine if he had to run the hustle here and do.
How come when Nasser moved to San Diego from Egypt, he didn't lose any size?
Because he was a big fuck. But Nasser was different.
Trained with Milos.
I believe that Nasser was genetically elite. I don't think some of these guys are genetically. I think they're all drugs. You know what? Throw them on an island and they'll be fucking Pee Wee Herman. You know what I mean? Look at me. I fucking lifted the weight. I haven't done shit. I fucking throw cancer operation. Go to the doctor in an hour after we're done with the show here. Oh. What I'm saying to you is that if you have a natural build, I get it. You know what I mean? But I'm saying I don't think these guys. I just think they're all drugs. I don't know. You know, you see how these guys, when they come off, look at Mustafa Muhammad. Come off, you would never even know. If you saw him walking in the street, you would never know he was even a bodybuilder. Right. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys like that.
But Greg, everyone's using the same drugs, though. You know that.
Yeah, but we don't. I don't know, but over there, you could get. Of what I hear, everything is fucking. You know.
Well, the difference is, Greg, it's not illegal there. If it's not illegal, you can buy it, and you don't have to worry about the ramifications of it, and there's not going to be as much fake stuff, you know.
Well, not only that, but you're getting legit shit.
That's right.
Over here, you're getting this shit that some guy trend. That shit's made. That's not made in no fucking
when you
lab.
When you provided your services back in the day, I mean, you were providing probably 99% real stuff, and that's why guys grew from it, right?
Well, I got steroid shit was the real deal.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm saying you guys had the American stuff. It was the best stuff. I had that stuff too.
That's why us 90 bodybuilders were jacked, baby.
The drugs were better.
That's why we were jacked.
The drugs were better.
We were on the big Rammy diet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what? I had guys in Mexico that I had put under a similar set of circumstances. They had very little to do. They just had to really train and eat and dedicate. It makes a tremendous difference when you remove a lot of those stresses from an athlete. So I don't know if you can say necessarily that they all look the same. I think that if you put anybody in that situation, they would look the same, because
that's what you just said. The same thing. What I'm trying to say is it because they're genetically elite, or is it because they're in a fucking gym that's like shoveling fucking juice down their throat and the food?
It's both, Greg. It's both.
Wait, listen. What you guys got to understand, you guys watching this, you watchers, you supporters, you fans, you know what I'm talking about, bro. Come on. You guys got to go to work. You got to bust your nut. Jay Cutler would train, take a nap at home, make sure his food was done. Somebody be cooking his food. His girl would shave his back, his ass. He'd go back to the gym, get a second workout in, go back home, take a nap. You know what I mean? Eat some more food. These guys over here, they're not fucking, it's not like, oh shit, fuck, man, I got to be back to work. They don't work. Their idea of working is personal training, which really is fucking, you're selling juice a little bit on the side. You know what I mean? There's not a pro bodybuilder who hasn't made a little babanya. I hadn't made a little babanya. Hadn't made a little scarol by selling some babanya. I'm telling you, it's nobody. It's just, that's the way it works. It's the law of the land. These guys they're not fucking busting their whole, working jobs and shit. Like, Dave, if you had to go back to being the Dave Palumbo you were in the 90s, when I knew you and you were fucking massive, you certainly wouldn't fucking, you wouldn't be able to do half these shows. Am I right or wrong?
I'm feeling very dirty from this conversation. I had to put my mask on.
No, it's because you guys don't want to hear it.
No, but Greg, I want to add this one thing. It's both. You don't take somebody without the good genetics and waste opportunity on them. Okay, so
I know
you're only getting, and that is in Oxygen Gym in Kuwait. You're only getting the best of the best. That's why they're there.
I understand it.
The schmo gym rat who don't have a chance in hell because he's got no calves or no forearms or no back or whatever. He's not going to Kuwait. They're not going to take him.
I understand. I understand you have to have genetics. We all know that. You know what I'm saying?
But it's a worthwhile endeavor.
But I want to know, Dave, if you right now had to get humongous again, right? Let's say God said, listen, save your kids or your family. You have to get humongous again. And you know that you could do this, Dave. I know you don't want to do that to your body and it stress your organs.
Greg, I'm opening up carbon dioxide gym. It's hypoxic training we do there. And it's going to be a brand new franchise here in the U.S. I'm gonna have all the big Rammy will come stay. I got the idea from John. He said I have all this money. I'm gonna spend it. I'm not giving it to the kids. I'm spending it. Carbon dioxide gym coming in 2021.
Listen.
Woo!
All right, listen to me. If you had to be humongous again, you wouldn't have time to be doing all these shows. You'd have to do it. And when I said Jay Cutler, I used him as example. I like Jay. It's all the bodybuilders are like that. They go to the gym.
I would not be able to do what I did back in the 90s and early 2000s if I had a family with 3 kids and, and businesses. No.
I'm saying if God came down and put a gun to your head and said, listen, to save your family's life, I want you to get jacked again.
Right.
If you had to do it, you wouldn't be able to do all these shows and do all the trainings you do and all that stuff because you'd have to do a lot more focusing.
Absolutely. Sure.
Right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want to do it. It would be distracting to me.
Right. Well, you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't have time because you got to go to the gym in the morning.
Right.
Then you got to get your food. Then you got to take a nap. And then you got to come back.
What I would do is if we create this little fantasy scenario, I would stop doing as many shows. I would do 1 rant a day. I would do 1 thing a day on a video camera. I'd upload it to YouTube and that would be it. I wouldn't want to focus on anything else but that. That would be it.
But you also wouldn't be able to put the time in. You have to do one or the other. You wouldn't be able to do it. You'd be sitting here going, oh, fuck, I got to eat a meal. You'd be eating a meal while you were talking. Yeah. You'd be in the gym fucking training.
I'd be like Guy Cicinino as he's on Instagram eating his food,
Yeah. But
I think there's an element of time gone by. Life is a lot more complicated now than it was 30 years ago.
You're right.
30 years ago in Venice, you could get an apartment for, place to live for $200 a month, and you'd spend another $200 a month on food, and you could make your whole nut work at a door somewhere. So, it's not like that today. That's another. And back then, the guys were training, 6 hours a day, Greg.
I was one of them. But the thing is, those guys back then were doing a lot of the gay for big. Get some guy with a lot of scatol.
Right.
And you don't give a shit. Here, make sure you go to the gym today. Oh,
right.
wait.
30 minutes of posing for them, probably naked. And these guys would, get a nice little paycheck there.
Right. When people, listen, I don't mean to dish your God or anything. But Arnold Schwarzenegger always talks about how he laid bricks. And they did one job. One. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that... Dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you really believe that him and fucking Franco went around building houses? No. You all know
built a chimney and a wall. I think that's all
That's all he ever built. And I'm going to tell you something. That fucking guy, won $1,000 for the Mr. Olympia. So how did he survive?
Roger Collard told me when he said they used to go to these pool parties at these rich guys' houses up in Bel Air.
I know all about all that shit.
And he said, Arnold would disappear into the house with the guy, a half hour later, he'd come out with, $500, And
dude, I know some of the guys that used to fucking give him the money. They're dead now, but I'm saying they're old men back
Greg,
then.
do you remember this guy named
Gabe?
No, Grace. He used to fax people pictures of Arnold. Lacey Rich.
Oh, I know the name.
Remember he used to fax pictures of Arnold to everybody, like at a pool naked or something.
Yeah, I've seen the one picture. I think we all seen that one picture.
Yeah, he ended up dead. Remember they found him dead of an insulin overdose.
Oh yeah, it's just like the fucking when he ran for governor and shit. There were fucking people were like kind of getting, because there's a lot of people. His pictures were circulating. I knew a guy. Was out there with Wage Bennett, and they said he was going. Oh, I don't want to say his name on the phone. I know, Dave, you're friends with him, and he was saying how he opened up a drawer at the guy's house over there in England, and there were pictures of Tom Platz and chaps. You know what I mean? And with his dick hanging out and all this stuff. And it wasn't these guys. It's not like
look, we don't know this is for true. This is Gregg's opinion. I don't know any of this is true.
Don't shoot me. These are not the views.
Wait, I did it once. I didn't get naked, but what I did was I blew darts in this guy's ass. I did the show.
What did you do?
What did you do?
This guy, another bodybuilder who I'm really close with. Okay, he was my buddy. He called me, said, "You want to make some money?" And he had this rich guy. Okay. Right. and it was Andrew Crispo, who was a famous art dealer, and he was in prison once for murder. And dude, the guy paid me with a check too, which is really crazy. So, but
What did you have to do?
Master. He had this master, and I did this show for Generation I, and we went into this room. Right, I get over there and the master greets us, and he's a gay dude, you know, with the police hat on, his fucking cock hanging out and shit like that. I go in a room, and my friend is in there, and my friend is doing all this fucked up shit. He's hitting him with a fucking paddle and all this, right? The guy's naked on an X like this, he's like this, and his ass is facing us. So, what I had to do, right, was the master tells me, okay. He goes, you got to fucking, I'm going to give you this dart gun. It's a dart gun, and it looks like syringes. They're long darts like this. And he would put a lighter to it like this, make it cherry red, and I would blow it like this. And it would right into the guy's ass.
Whoa.
And the guy would scream, ah! And it was fucking crazy. And then he'd go, you got to do it again. And I would do another, and I was starting to sweat. You know what I mean? I was like getting nervous but you could actually smell this, like there was like burnt. You could smell the skin was burning and shit. It was the most fucked up thing. But he loved it. The guy was getting a hard on. The master then would come over.
Now, hold on. Let me ask you a question. What did they need you there for to do that? It doesn't seem like it was like a special.
Because they had a bodybuilding. They were because we were even the master was fucking calling me a master. You know, because they had a fetish for big muscle. These guys are. Dude, I'm giving you the fucking name of the guy. His name was Andrew Crispo.
And how much did you make for that? For blowing darts up his ass?
$300, not a lot, but and it
well, you know, they were hot darts. You know, maybe if they were cold darts, you would have made $500.
This was back in like 1990. I just had a kid. You know what I mean? I was moving the gym. I was kind of needed some schedule.
Yeah.
And my close friend, I'll tell you this off this, said to me, bro, you want to make a couple bucks, come with me. You know what I mean? And that's how that happened.
S&M.
What's that?
Yeah, he was into S&M. I got an article on him right here, Crispo.
Oh, you found it?
He went to prison.
Look it up.
He killed a guy during that S&M, a guy named Wayne Lagaros. He killed him, and he went to prison for it.
Andrew Crispo, is that his name?
Yeah, Andrew Crispo. He's an art dealer.
Crispo.
Art dealer.
He's got to be like fucking 80 now. He was old when I did it. And he had a master. The master looked like something you see right in a fucking movie. He had chaps on. His fucking cock was hanging down. He had straps across here. A baseball hat, like a leather fucking police baseball type hat, studs in it and shit. Looked just a big handlebar mustache.
He's only a one-time murder suspect. That's it.
He looked like Freddie Mercury.
Did you get a picture of this guy?
S&M killer awaits parole ruling after 31 years behind bars.
Yeah. And he was paroled. This is after. I met him afterwards.
There he is. Do you see this picture, Greg?
After that murder. He used to be like supposedly a dom. Now he's a submissive. Dude, he was fucking, they were calling me Master G, all kinds of shit. I don't want to take anything away from Mr. G.
Can you see these pictures, Greg, that we're putting up? No. Oh, you can't? Okay.
No, I can't see him.
I think that's him. That's Andrew Crispo. There
Dude, he's an art dealer. I walked in his fucking, he was on the corner of 14th Street and 11th Avenue. He had a big fucking like art gallery, and you walk in there and it's like, I should have fucking housed the painting because there was like fucking millions of paintings all in like boxes. And
they probably were worth a fortune.
Oh, dude, he's like a fucking billionaire, and all I got was $300 fucking dollars.
You should have gotten on his payroll. You should have been working for him full
yeah, but it didn't matter, dude. I gave that motherfucker scars. I was hitting him with. I shot.
You could do that all day long, man, Greg.
If you didn't use the blowgun, you'd probably get more money.
But the master was making the fucking thing cherry red. So not only when the dart, it was like a syringe.
Did you ever see a guy that looked remotely like Steve Blackman dressed up as a woman over there?
No, they don't like that.
Remember Mr. G and Bobby Smalls insisted that they saw Bleckman outside of Studio 54 in a dress when he still had the mustache with the frosting in it?
No, I don't believe it. Let me tell you,
Mr.
they don't like that.
I believe it.
You got to get his brother Bobby on the show.
Yeah.
We got to verify a lot of these.
Yeah, I don't know. But they had storytellers too, so I don't know if I believe anything.
Why isn't Mr. G talking? What the hell?
Are you there, George?
He's in the corner. He's been in the corner all day.
No, he's invisible. I don't see him. It just says something.
It just says Mr. G.
It says Mr. G.
See, I was
it's a
Master
placeholder.
G. I was Master G.
You
That's
were Master
Mr.
G, yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Dude, that was the
placeholder.
sickest thing, though. If you saw that shit, the guy had a fucking. He was on.
That's
X.
true. Mr. G is Mr. G. He's Greg, so maybe we call you Master G from now on. That's your new nickname, bro.
I shouldn't have said anything. I don't want to be called Master G. No, it's the only time I ever did it. But my partner used to. I just said his name. Fuck it. My partner Paul was the guy.
You
Anyway,
always talk. Paul does everything with you. We know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we used to do it, dude. He was a crazy motherfucker. He would do all that shit. I tell you, I know guys that would do that shit. You know what dudes are into? The same thing that guys will love with girls. They're like feats of strength.
Right.
Right? You know that. You know what I'm talking about, Dave. Where if the female bodybuilders go in there, they lift up.
They
a
lift and
refrigerator,
carry. Yeah, they
and
do
some
lift and
guy
carry.
masturbates to that. Right?
It's called the hand release.
They do the fucking. They're into feats of strength. Dude,
Right, I know it.
put me in a headlock, make me faint. And the chick will go in there, she'll put an arm bar on him, and the guy will faint like this, and he'll wake up. Here's another $100. Do it again.
Oh
And
my
she'll-
God!
Laura
Holy mackerel.
Vukov
God
used to
forbid
do it
you
on
kill
the
the guy
living
by
room.
accident. Break his
Laura
neck.
Vukov used to do it in her living room floor right behind my Duchesne's apartment. She had a wrestling mat that she
Dude.
put the furniture against the wall and roll out the wrestling mat.
Yeah.
And then these guys would come in and, wrestle, and she would like leg scissor them, in the neck, and they'd pass, and they'd be stomping on they'd tell him, we're going to be banging on the bit, but don't let go. And they'd make a safe word. He's got to like banging on the mat to stop, and she won't stop. And you hear this shit, through the wall. You bang, smash, the guy goes into the floor, and then bang it, and screaming and shit. And then she's like, she's got her wigs drying out on the back patio with the little mannequin heads. And these guys are coming and going, and she's lifting them up, throwing them around, smashing them, leg scissoring them in the head, all for money.
We knew this one
Dude,
girl.
I-
She used to do it. She was the lift and carry like queen. She could lift anyone up.
I know a million of those girls, bro. What about my friend used to date Thea Bennington? She was like 6'1", 6'2". Do you remember her?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember Chris Lupke?
I'm sure Nicole Bass probably did some of that too, because she was very strong
shit.
too.
She did it to me. One time Nicole Bass snuck up from behind me and put me in a headlock and lifted me off the ground and then threw me on her shoulder.
Yeah, I saw her do that to Troy Moore once too. It was like he was like a dwarf. Like she threw him up in the air.
She threw me, dude, she put me in a fucking headlock, Nicole Bass, from behind. I didn't know she was there. And she was fucking around, playing around. And then she
Did you get
lifted
excited?
me up. And then, no, not at all. I'm not into that shit. But I could give you stories. Woo! You know the story.
So who is
You know what?
who is the best lift and carry queen of all time? You think the most popular?
You know what? Anybody who competed in a woman's extravaganza, all those fucking girls.
Yeah, they were all there.
Even Tazzy, all of them, they would fucking.
Steve Winterstrom would be able to give us quite a rundown.
I know, dude. I know stories where chicks would fucking knock on a guy's door. The guy would open the door. She'd fucking crack him in the jaw, and he'd take his money. The girl, she took $1,200 from this guy, and he opened up the door. She fucking hit him with a right. She dropped him. He gave her $1,200. Then she hit him. She leaves, and she told me by the time I made it out to the fucking street where the car was, he called me back, said that was unbelievable. Come do it again. I'll give you more money. They're crazy. Dude, you guys know how those schmoes are. They're fucking nuts like that. They're crazy.
They're obsessed.
I'd love to throw names, my God in heaven.
I used to get Shelly, when I was with Shelly Beatty, she used to get mail from these guys, these handwritten letters. They were the most pathetic things you have ever read in your entire life. And it was like, Paul, I couldn't wait for her to go to the freaking her mailbox and get the mail. And there would be money in it. This one kid would send cash, and he was talking about, he would go on these long rants about, cigarettes and alcohol and pornography, and then put in $100 or $50. And then this other guy was begging her to sell her underwear.
Dude, I got
$500. He went up to like $1,500 for a fucking pair of pants.
Yeah.
It's like saying, fucking sell.
Oh, yeah. John, you could go get a pair of underwear, wipe your ass with it, pair of panties, and send it in a box, and some guy will snip it and jerk off to it.
That's what I did. I wore them for the day, and then I sent them.
Oh, you got another one? I'll pay you for it. No, but but listen, dude, I got the sickest fucking mail. Dave, I got to show you this. I still got it. It's some fucking fan from the Philippines who was a bodybuilder sent me pictures of him with guns and then his girlfriend naked with guns, right?
Right.
And then she's shooting. Then pictures of her, a Filipina shooting herself with like heroin, and she's all dude. I got it. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
I still have it. They sent it to me like fucking Lucia. How long ago was that? Like fucking 15, 20 years ago. I got that fucking thing in the mail. And it's this bro. It's sick. There's a lot of sick shit. He sent me a lot of pictures with a lot of crazy shit. I'm gonna
Really?
say, but
And you saved it too.
I saved it because I couldn't believe how fucked up. When I did the movie with Chris Bell, Bigger, Stronger, Faster, I had a garbage bag full of fucking that kind of mail.
Oh, really?
And he'll tell you, big black garbage bag, and they filmed it, and he filmed the whole segment of it. I think he put a little piece of it in where they show him reading some of the mail. And he'll tell you, I had more than a garbage. I had like 2 garbage bags. It was the sickest shit. These people, some of these, dude. I had one where
Why
some
were they
guy
sending it to you?
Because they, the ram a freak, and I give crazy stories, so they think, yo, I got one for you. I got to tell you something.
Oh, I see.
But listen to me. I used to get it from the magazine, a lot of jail. This one guy said to me in jail, he's freaking out because he's got to stop himself from killing people this is in jail.
Yeah.
Because they just brought some kid into jail. The kid was like 110 pounds. He was a little twink. And he said he had a shootout with the cops. The cops shot him. And now he has a colostomy bag. And he said the other inmates were raping him and fucking him in the hole for the colostomy. I showed, hey, you think I'm fucking kidding you? Chris Bell read that, and he goes to me, I can't put this in a movie, but this is the sickest fucking shit I've ever. They were raping this guy in the hole where the colostomy bag goes.
Too much detail here.
And this kid in the other cell wanted to kill him. I'm going to kill all those rapists for doing it.
Convicts would stab somebody, and then they'd fuck the stab wound.
Really?
Yep.
Crazy people.
They're
A lot of
nuts,
sickos.
bro.
Thank God they're in jail. Except now they're letting everyone out.
Not anymore.
Excites them. They get a hard on from stabbing the guy from the adrenaline.
Yeah, well, it's the dominance, it's the power. But let me tell you something. You live in New York, bro. They're not in jail no more. They're fucking.
I just said
they
that.
let
They're letting people out.
You don't even get
New York
bail.
People are leaving New York by the truckload, man.
Dude, you don't even get bail here unless you sell steroids. Then you go to jail. You're fucked.
You're right. I talked to Rick Collins, and he says he goes, they get in and they go right back out. He goes, it's the biggest problem the cops are having is that whatever they're doing, they'll be back in 30 minutes.
Yeah, but if dude, there's a guy here. There's a fucking guy in New York they arrested over 100 times for bank robbery. 100 times they let him out. And the same day he'll rob a bank that he got arrested, and they get him again.
He's obviously not very good at it if he keeps getting caught.
No, it's De Blasio. It's De Blasio and Cuomo, dude. Democratic fucking bullshit.
All right, no politics. All right, I want to end the show though. I want to end the show with I want to just do a little remembrance because Mercury Morris Claiborne, who was I believe second place at the 1990 NPC Nationals in the bantamweight class, he looked like a little mini Flex Wheeler. He passed this past week. Maybe Tyler could put a picture up from my Instagram. I had posted one.
What did he die of, Dave?
He had a stroke 10 years ago, evidently, and he was in a wheelchair as a quadriplegic for 10 years, from what his family wrote on the obituary. Did you guys knew him, right?
I knew if Charles Claiborne was his name.
No, not
right?
Charles Claremont. This is Mercury Claiborne.
No, Mercury, the little guy with the fucking curly,
Jerry Curl. Yeah.
Right there. He had like a mullet.
Yeah.
Jury curls.
What do you guys know about him? Can you talk about him so we can kind of honor him a little bit?
He was an amazing
lightweight
motorcycle rider. He was legendary in the canyons in L.A.
Now, when I don't. What did he do? Did he ride fast? I mean, what was he?
Yeah, he rode sport bikes fast in the canyons. Like a GP racer. He was really good.
It says Suzuki, Hondas, Ducatis. That's what was his favorite.
Everything but a Harley.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, I wonder why he never competed. He stopped competing. Do you know why, John?
I don't know. I mean, maybe
because he was like a lightweight and stuff.
He was really small. He was a little
right. I don't think he had. I think he knew that he'd have to take a lot more shit.
He knew
a lot of people don't want to do that.
He would have been a good classic bodybuilder. Classic physique guy, probably.
Well, look at Dexter Jackson. Dexter Jackson started out, he was a lightweight bodybuilder.
Bantamweight.
Bantamweight.
Was he bantamweight? Was he actually that low?
135 pounds.
Would he win? He won the nationals. I thought as a lightweight, right? Or was it?
No,
did
he won
win
the
it-
North Americans as a light heavyweight, but he was, and remember, light heavyweight's up to 198 pounds. He was about 184 for that show. That's how good he was.
Yeah, but he
before that, when he was qualifying, when his first contest he won, it was a bantamweight.
He was bantamweight. Then he won the Southern States overall as a middleweight.
Right.
So
incredible.
That's the one I think I remember. The Southern States as a middleweight. I knew that he was really small, like light, and then look. But
he
I'm
had
saying,
freaky genetics. He always had crazy muscle separation and just like he was.
I
that's why they
remember
called him the
Mercury,
Blade.
but I thought his
He was
first.
always lean.
Yeah.
And I remember being like that little Jerry Curl. He had the fucking mullet, like Jerry.
That
Curl.
was Mercury Claiborne. Yeah.
Right, and he had the light eyes, but his name wasn't Mercury. That was his nickname.
Morris.
Right?
Morris Claiborne.
More okay. Yeah, he was a nice guy.
He trained at Venice Golds.
Yeah.
I met him backstage at one of the fucking shows.
Oh.
I don't know where he trained. That I couldn't tell you, but I remember him. He was small.
Yeah. A lot of guys, he was 60 years old, so he's probably the same age as you guys. He must have been, contemporaries with you.
Oh, how dare you!
It was.
Well, you know what it is? We're getting to an age now, guys, where it's not just bodybuilding related deaths anymore. It's actually people die of old age, at 60 years old.
Hey, I'm 60.
No, I know, but I'm saying we're in good health, luckily, hopefully.
No, I know.
But there
Well,
are
I'm not. I'm
people,
going to the doctor,
there are people
right?
that die at 60 years old. I mean, that's society. I mean, people get
My
diseases,
grandfather
they have
died at
strokes,
60
heart
years
attacks,
old.
cancer. Hopefully our lifestyle now is a healthy lifestyle. It'll prevent us from having to succumb to some of these, chronic debilitative diseases like, the heart disease and stuff like that. But there are normal people that kind of went back to just living normal lives that weren't eating right, weren't taking care of themselves maybe, and they succumbed. That's
genetics. It's genetics. Because you could eat shit and live to be a fucking 100 years
Yeah,
old.
but I think if you eat right and you train, you exercise, you keep, you take care of yourself, you have a much better chance of living longer without disease. That's the key.
My mother ate organ meats and all that shit, and she died of pancreas cancer in her 60s.
Wow. And we
And
don't
she
know if
ate
that's what caused
the
it.
best
She might have had a bad gene too that just kind of kicked off. My mother died of pancreatic cancer at 42. Go figure that one out.
Died of
Wait,
that.
your mother, Dave?
Yeah, 42 years old. Figure
No
that one out.
way.
What?
No way. I didn't know your mother.
Yeah.
Same thing with my mother, pancreas cancer. That's crazy when you outlive one of your parents. Like if your mother came alive today, you'd be older than her.
Yeah, I'm older than her. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I'm glad I made it. It was a little nerve-wracking. Even my sister, I'm sure, probably up until that age, we were all like, well, are we going to be, have the same fate? But the truth is that, I live a completely different lifestyle, the way I take care of myself and the supplements. They didn't know anything about nutrition, about eating back then,
Right.
No one
Jimmy
knew
the
that
Bull
stuff.
calling me.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. I'm sorry, Mr. G couldn't join us, and Jimmy the Bull. Maybe next week they'll kick in. But this was a good show because I feel like it was therapy for me because I was like stressed out. It was too much crazy stuff going on. Now I vented all my aggravation.
That's
out
because
there.
of my fucking story about blowing darts in
That's
that guy's
right.
ass.
That really did lie. That gave me a smile for the rest of the day. I'll keep that vision in my head.
No one can complain about their life.
The darts up the butt were way better than the colostomy bag story. I'll tell you that much. So I'll try to envision the darts instead, for the rest of the day. Thanks, guys. I love you guys. I'm Dave Palumbo
Thank
here
you.
with
Love
John
you, man.
Romano, Gregg Valentino, and of course Tyler Shore. We'll see you next week.
I love you guys, man.
Love
Do
you.
it.